Hi, this is Barbara Gahn-Mueller. I am delighted you are here today. You are just in for a treat. Marilyn Tam is our guest today. Today you are going to hear all of the things that this woman has done to bring peace, happiness, and healthy living. Imagine peace, happiness, and healthy living from the point of view of somebody who's an author, somebody who has done amazing keynote addresses. She and I were both at the Peace 2020 World Peace Conference put on by Rudy Westervelt. She was the keynote speaker, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Her words are the balm that heals people. And right now with this virus, we need them. We need her words for our health, happiness, and our peace. Peace of mind. Marilyn, why don't we start with that? How do you bring peace of mind to you and to those you love?
Peace of mind is really a choice, because a lot of times we can either be in fear, in anxiety, thinking about what is going to happen to us or what's happened to us before, or what could possibly be happening next moment. And when we're in that space, we're not going to be at peace because we're worried. We're worried, we're thinking about this, or we're even anxious or looking forward to something. It's just not being present. So when we shift the consciousness and say, okay, at this moment, what am I feeling? I can choose to be okay, whatever else is happening around us. And so starting from that, starting from just this moment, stop, take a breath, a deeper breath, and one more.
Sometimes
it's better already.
Sometimes it's just in the breathing. You know, people have been sending me hundreds of emails about breathe deeply because the virus affects your lungs and you have to have healthy, strong lungs. And I also think we have to have a healthy, strong mind right now. We have to let our mind rest in the joy of knowing we are alive, that we might be enough. We might be able to express some happiness to those we love. Marilyn's an author. Remember I said she's an author, she's a keynote speaker. But one of the books that I love, and it's almost like my Bible, You Are Enough. It's almost like what you have is exactly what you need to get what you want. And so, Marilyn, give us a little essence of that. Maybe we should be practicing that right now during this time when we're quiet, we're home, and we're not out in our car.
Mm-hmm. It's recognizing that everybody starts from what you have now, because you got to this point because of what you have. Everything else you can learn, you can work for, you can exercise to get the body you want, to eat the way you want, and get the education if you need, but you start with what you have. And what you have is your determination, your own, as Barbara, you were saying, about feeling good about yourself. Because if you don't feel good about yourself, it is translated and transmuted in everything and every way you move, talk. It just emanates from you. But if you believe that you are good enough, you deserve to breathe this air, to live this life, everything can change. So you have to start from being you and saying, that's enough, because this is what I have to get to what I want. And so that's why I wrote my book, How to Use What You've Got to Get What You Want.
And exactly what she said is exactly what she writes about. And how often we have those negative messages in our mind. I'm not perfect. I can't do that. Wait until I get there. Then I'll be happy. No, you have to begin right now. And, you know, I remember people saying you have to love yourself. And if you're not used to it, look in the mirror and say, I love you. Practice that you love yourself, because that's where the joy of living begins. And I see this joy of living in Marilyn. Marilyn, what's your secret to bringing joy to yourself?
It starts with as what we just spoke about, choice. We have a choice. And that's my next book, actually, is The Happiness Choice. There are 5 factors to being happy. The first one, everyone that seem to work on most of the time, unfortunately for right now, a lot of people are not able to do that, which is to work for a living, to work for money. That seems to consume most of our time, because we are so ingrained enculturated to thinking that we need so much, whatever it is, number of dollars, number of credit cards, whatever it is that we need, and we have to work for it. And so we start with that. We think money is driving us. Now, of course, with the lockdown in most states, and of course here in California, we're not able to work as we normally do, and many people, unfortunately, are not able to work at all. Fortunately for you and me, Barbara, we can work from home, so we're very fortunate. But in either case, the first thing most people work for is money. And that is a fallacy, because right now we're realizing that we still have to live whether we're working for money or not. So the next thing that happens when we put so much energy onto money is that our health gets affected, because we spend too much time and too much energy on that, and our health gets affected. So the next thing that we need to think about is our body. So if you think about balancing your work, balancing your body, those two things are very big factors. The third factor that bothers us or it impacts us is our relationships. Because say we have the job or work we love, and we have plenty of money, and then we're eating properly, we are exercising, but if we don't take care of our relationships, we're not going to be happy either. We have to allocate time, energy, and especially now we're confined to our homes, whether we have our loved ones with us, and the challenges that come with facing somebody 24/7 for weeks on end, and or what if your loved ones aren't living with you? How do you deal with that? So the allocation of our energies, because everyone has only 100%. So if you allocate so much percentage to your money making, so much to your personal body health, and then how much do you allocate to relationships? Let's say you get all three of those connected, something else is still missing, which is how do you deal with your connection to the greater whole? Whether you call it God, spirit, right now it's time of tremendous spiritual connection, because it's Passover, it's Easter, it's a time for many religions to celebrate basically the coming of the light, because spring is here. So if we do not pay attention to our spiritual life, that's another aspect that's not making us feel not completely full. So let's just say we deal with those four. There's one more thing to do that we deal with, and it's very obvious right now in this lockdown, and that is community. Without community, we're nowhere. We can't get food. We can't get, and for the people who are not supposed to go out, people immunocompromised who are more senior in age, they depend on community to bring them what they need. And so if we recognize that we the ones who can go out and bring food to others, that's how we give back. That's how we are nourished and they are nourished. So the 5 aspects of happiness are those. What do you call it? Money, work, your personal physical self, your relationships, your spiritual self, and your community life. Those 5 aspects, when we're aware of them all and we connect them all together, that's when we're happy.
I love it. I keep listening to you, and I don't want to interrupt you, because everything you say is something that somebody might need out there. So I want it to be in harmony. So I just wanted you to go through the 5 steps. But the one that really got me today was relationships. I love my relationships. And I was telling somebody my friends called me from Norway, because my sweetheart's from Norway, and his family called to see how we were. And we were talking about, with this virus, the world is brought to us. We don't have to go out into the world is brought to us, and the relationships are so powerful. I use Zoom, I use the phone, I use Skype, I use WhatsApp. I talk to people in Australia, in Wales. I
Mhm.
love my global community, and it's bigger than I ever thought possible. Now I have the time to develop those relationships, and that's one powerful way to keep yourself healthy and strong. Um, and I think there's one other thing that I admire about you, and that's your culinary skills. You show on your Facebook page more delicious food. You just make me think I got to go to Marilyn's house for dinner, but I can't because I'm stuck in my house. But the way you describe it, your soups, your vegetarian dishes, they're all so beautiful. So I'm finding time to cook. I'm cooking again. I have Swiss chard cooking as we're talking. I have baking potatoes. I love I have time. I haven't cooked in a long time. I've been so busy at the club eating out and all the other things. But now my relationship with food has changed. And I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of the relationship with God. It's more calm. I'm not asking for so much. I'm enjoying and having gratitude. So, Marilyn, when you think about it, there are some advantages for the good life right now.
Mhm. Absolutely. And as you said before the podcast started about peace and then living a healthy life, those
Mhm,
two are intertwined, and so is happiness. Because
mhm,
everything starts with peace, though.
mhm,
Because when we're at peace, we're content. We're not grasping. We're not waiting. We're not in fear. We're calm. And we are from that place happy. And when we're happy, it makes it easier to live a healthy life because we are listening to ourselves, to our own inner wisdom of how to take care of our bodies, how to take care of our relationships, how to have the connection with our bigger self, spirit, and our community. So it all becomes very integrated and really holistic. I just love the fact that we have that time, even though it's so hard for so many people, including ourselves, that we're not able to do what we normally thought was so standard, if you will. And now we can appreciate everything we are able to do. And the magic of that is peace, coming from that
mhm.
place of calm and peace.
Calm and peace. I think about that and I think about gratitude again. I go right back to when you're really in that moment when you're thinking, boy, this isn't so much fun. What are you grateful for? Are you grateful for your health? Are you grateful? What are you grateful for? Because it's almost like gratitude is a key, as Oprah always said. Her life changed when she started a gratitude journal. And Oprah's a neighbor of Marilyn. They live in the same community. And Oprah's always been so open to new ideas. And so I hope today, as you listen to Marilyn, if these ideas are new to you, start yourself a little piece of paper, a journal, write down something that you're going to improve for yourself so that your happiness is as obvious as it is for Marilyn. And I'm Barbara Gon Mueller. And I don't even know if I said that at the beginning. I got so excited about having Marilyn Tam on that I don't even know if I introduced myself, because the most important part isn't who I am, but what my spirit says to you.
Mhm.
I think we all have a spirit inside, and you can see it radiating from Marilyn. And I hope you can feel what I feel for you. There's so much love on the planet now, right now. Are you feeling that, Marilyn?
Yes, because the giving and taking that is going on right now, because there are people that are very, very challenged. I have dear friends who are not able to leave their house, so I've become sort of their conduit to the world, and
I
then more
bet.
people are doing that, and then I realized that circle of life of connection and giving and taking. I just feel the love from them, from the bigger community, from Food Bank, where we are doing so much work with that, from Rotary, where we are working on um, protective equipment for hospitals and seniors all over. This love that we're sharing and giving back, it's just very, very heart touching.
It is, and it's contagious. And I don't know, but I'm very sad we have to go through this virus. But it's making me stop and think, what kind of world do I really want? I want a world where we're all safe. I hope Antonio Gutierrez, our Secretary General's message gets out there. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Let us live in peace. Let us not live in dominance and powerlessness. Let's live in power for all and love for all. It sounds like I feel like a preacher, but I'm serious. I'm serious. I want our world to work for everybody. I want our children to be safe. And I know you do too. And I'm so grateful that you're helping people right now, Marilyn, because they need it. And if somebody does need the help that we can give, don't be afraid to ask for what you need, because suffering is not fun. But if you can just remember that we are, as Marilyn said, a community, that we are in relationships, take advantage of those who may want to help you. Let them help you and you help them. Marilyn, as we are finishing up this podcast, at the Peace Conference, I noticed that you did a talk at the dinner about the way we can all bring peace to ourselves. Can you remember two or three things that you said? Because it was a powerful moment for me.
One of the first things you said that's so important is gratitude. We have a choice of how we look at everything. Viktor Frankl, who, as you know well, was in the concentration camps.
He's one of my heroes. Absolutely, Marilyn. I read about him in college and I thought, why did I know about him before? How he was able to get the prisoners to remember the best foods they ate while they were eating the garbage that was given to them. And his troop didn't die. Those people who had expectations of a better meal were the people who died. It's like, be grateful for what you have, no matter what it is. I kind of interrupted you. Go right ahead.
The gratitude is number one, and we just talked about, and that's why I said making the choice to be happy, to be at peace, and to recognize our interconnection. And right now, there's no better time than to realize everything in the whole world is connected. We've been connected by this virus, and so peace has to come from everybody. And because everything we do interacts and impacts everyone. So I think those two things, recognizing our interconnection, recognizing that we can have gratitude, and recognizing that we can make a difference.
Isn't that beautiful? We can make a difference. We are enough. We don't have to wait for the virus to end to practice those wonderful skills that Marilyn has in her body, like her DNA. It's right there in front of her. And if you ever read her story, you would not believe what this woman has put up with and where she is today. So it's a perfect example of someone who believes that peace is possible regardless. And I'm Barbara Gunn-Mueller thanking you. But I forgot something, Marilyn. What website can we go to for you?
Go to my own website. That would be marilyntam.com, just my name, MarilynTam.com. And I also write a blog on Medium. So again, it's Marilyn Tam, and you talked about it lightly, which is about food and plant-based food, which is so important now because that lowers the impact on our planet. And also it's much better for our health and our immune system, which was both things that we really want to deal with right now. So if you go to Medium, look for Marilyn Tam, and I have a series of blogs on health, on food, on happiness. And of course, all of that is available on my own website. So you can start from there, marilyntam.com, and find all the things that we talked about. And it's free.
It's wonderful to have Marilyn Tam on peacepodcast.org. Invite your friends to watch Marilyn Tam. Get on your computers together. I had lunch the other day with my people on a Peace Podcast show. I said, bring your lunch. I can't go out to lunch with you, but bring your lunch and let's have a conversation. Have that conversation with someone you love. Let them know how much you appreciate them. I'm in such gratitude. Today I went out in the garden. I picked Swiss chard. I brought it in, cut off the heavy stems and put them in the bottom, cooked Swiss chard, made baked potatoes. I'm going back to those culinary skills that I haven't had time to do. And when I picked that Swiss chard, I was in such gratitude for the rain we just had, because these green leaves were just popping up. And I don't know, all I can say is it's not easy sometimes when you hear about the virus and you hear people suffering, but I think you could become the peace that they may need. I want to thank you for listening today. Join us often. We have so much wisdom to share. Share your wisdom and talk to people that you love. Marilyn Tam, it's always a pleasure. absolute pleasure to see you and to read about you. And I love the way you always reply to people on Facebook. I always feel so powerful. I read Marilyn Tam's Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a pleasure. I'm Barbara Gone-Mueller again, thanking you for joining us, and join us often. Peace Podcast there for you. Peace, happiness, and healthy living. Bye-bye.